Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we've got a seriously packed two-part breakdown lined up for you. We're going to start off with a pretty sobering true crime update coming straight out of the courthouse, and then we're going to make a huge pivot to a rapidly escalating public health crisis that's literally affecting hundreds of thousands of people right now. They are completely different stories, for sure, but they both pack some absolutely crucial information you're going to want to know.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, the Jose Medina trial update. Then, the Lyme disease surge, hidden symptoms and surprising carriers, how AI testing prevents chronic Lyme, the promising new vaccine, and finally, public trust and health interventions. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Section 1, the Jose Medina trial update, specifically focusing on the new charges in the Gorman case. This is a deeply troubling development regarding the first-degree murder trial of Medina, who is currently awaiting trial for the tragic killing of Loyola student Sheridan Gorman. To really grasp the gravity of this trial, we need to look at a highly emotional observation from a recent interview with Sheridan Gorman's family. A family member actually stated, "When he did turn to the side, I saw his eyes, and they were cold." It's chilling, right? The family was there in the courthouse, surrounded by about 30 friends and family members, while noting that Medina had absolutely no one there for him. The broadcast really highlighted the family's belief that this was a highly premeditated act. They pointed out that Medina allegedly planned the attack by getting his hands on an illegal firearm and having the wherewithal to hide with a mask at the end of a pier, just waiting for someone to arrive.
Now, Medina has been in federal custody since March 23rd, and he was already staring down a massive slate of charges. We're talking first-degree murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault, aggravated unlawful possession of a weapon, and illegal possession of a firearm. But now, there's a brand new felony charge to add to that list. While being held at the Cook County Penal Institution, Medina was charged with possessing a shank, specifically a knife fashioned with tape. It's a major security development as we wait to see exactly where this harrowing legal story goes next.
Okay, moving to Section 2, the Lyme disease surge and this growing public health crisis. We're stepping away from the courthouse now and completely shifting gears to a rapidly escalating health emergency that is incredibly relevant for all of us as we head out into the warmer months.
500,000. I want you to really take a second and visualize the massive scale of that number. Get this. The CDC estimates there are nearly 500,000 cases of Lyme disease in the US every single year. 500,000. And what's wild is, experts on the broadcast noted that the true number might actually be way higher than that. Because of this massive surge, emergency room visits strictly for tick bites, they've just hit a 10-year high.
And this definitely isn't flying under the radar at the highest levels of government. Recently, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced some new, highly targeted efforts to combat Lyme disease. He put a spotlight on these new anti-Lyme initiatives during his Take Back Your Health tour, specifically making these announcements up in New Hampshire, as concerns about this illness are just growing dramatically across the entire country. That brings us right to Section 3, hidden symptoms and surprising carriers, and why Lyme is so incredibly tricky. To understand why this disease is turning into such a crisis, we have to look at how easily it evades detection. During the broadcast, the host shared a personal anecdote that is honestly terrifying, but it perfectly frames the problem. Years ago, her son got a tick bite and developed this severe headache. Because she didn't know what was actually wrong, she thought he had a brain tumor. She was so terrified she took him in for a CAT scan. It turned out it was Lyme disease.
The real danger here is how this disease basically wears a disguise, which Fox News senior medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel explained perfectly. First off, you might just get standard flu-like symptoms, a headache, a fever, just feeling generally run down, and you might completely mistake it for a common bug. Now, about 70% of the time, patients will develop that classic bullseye rash, red with a hollow center. But here is the really sneaky part. That rash absolutely loves to hide. It can pop up in places you'd never think to look, like your armpits or hidden way up in your scalp. Geographically, while it's definitely spreading, your major hotspots remain the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic states, and the Upper Midwest, like Wisconsin and Minnesota.
So, an absolutely crucial point here is understanding where this bacteria is actually coming from. Let's bust a super common myth. If you ask most people, they're going to tell you that deer carry Lyme disease, right? Well, Dr. Siegel clarified the reality here. It's actually field mice, specifically white-legged mice. They are the ones carrying the Lyme disease bacteria. The deer do play a role, sure, but they primarily just act as a massive breeding ground where the ticks reproduce, which makes the overall problem way worse. But the true carrier, it's the mouse.
Let's look at Section 4, how AI testing prevents chronic Lyme by speeding up detection. It's time to shift from the scary complications of this disease to the incredible new resolutions being developed. Because when it comes to Lyme, early detection is everything. It's paramount. If you don't catch it early, patients can suffer from chronic Lyme, which brings on these awful, long-term, debilitating effects. We are on the verge of a massive technological leap here. Right now, traditional antibody testing can take weeks before a test finally turns positive. That is crucial, precious time lost. But as highlighted during the HHS Secretary's Initiative, Dartmouth is developing a brand new molecular test that actually uses artificial intelligence. Instead of waiting weeks, these AI tests can give doctors results in just a few days. This means medical professionals can prescribe antibiotics incredibly early, which is exactly how you stop chronic Lyme right in its tracks.
Now, while we wait for those high-tech tests to hit every doctor's office, Dr. Siegel offered some highly practical, everyday prevention advice for when you're out walking in the grass, because ticks generally wait right around your ankle line or maybe slightly higher to attach themselves to you. So step 1, wear long pants. Step 2, and he really stressed this one, tuck those long pants directly into your socks to completely seal off that ankle area. And step 3, always spray for ticks. It's so simple, but it is highly effective. Looking ahead, Section 5 covers the promising new vaccine, specifically Pfizer's Phase 3 trials. So beyond AI testing and, aggressively tucking in our socks, there is a major medical intervention on the horizon that promises even greater protection, especially if you live in one of those high-risk regional hotspots.
Pfizer is currently testing a brand new Lyme disease vaccine in Phase 3 trials right this very minute, and the projected efficacy is sitting at about 70%. Dr. Siegel explained that this is a completely safe vaccine because it actually relies on older, really well understood technology. It uses proteins and peptides to specifically target the bacteria itself. He noted it's looking very promising, and he expects it could even be fast-tracked to be available in just a few months, especially given the current national spotlight on the disease.
Finally, Section 6, Public Trust and Health Interventions and the Vaccine Hesitancy Debate. Because, developing a promising vaccine is really only half the battle. The other half is getting the public to actually use it. Dr. Siegel pointed out a pretty fascinating historical fact here. The last time we had a Lyme vaccine available, essentially nobody took it.
And this brings us to a very real hurdle regarding the public's willingness to embrace new health interventions. During the broadcast, the host brought up the climate of suspicion surrounding vaccines post-COVID, stating, "When the federal health departments lie to the people, then when they come up with something that maybe is good, everyone is suspicious. But maybe it's good to be a little suspicious."
Fully acknowledging that hesitation, Dr. Siegel responded directly to it. He actively validated the safety of this new Lyme vaccine, stating clearly that overcoming this specific suspicion is exactly why he was appearing on the broadcast in the first place. His main goal was to reassure the public that because this intervention uses proven protein and peptide technology, it looks very safe and will be a highly useful tool for anyone living in tick-heavy areas.
Which leaves us with a pretty profound question to end on today. As incredible medical technology leaps forward, from AI molecular testing at Dartmouth to brand new protein vaccines, how will society rebuild the trust needed to actually embrace it all? Science is clearly giving us the tools to fight back against this 500,000 case surge, but the human element of trust? That remains the final variable. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this breakdown empowered you with some great, actionable knowledge today. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.